In today's video, we're going to talk about the top 5 reasons that people are moving to St. Augustine. And what I did is I looked at all the people that I've helped relocate to our area, and I pulled out the top 5 reasons amongst all of them of why they chose St. Augustine versus many other places in the South and many other places in Florida. What's up, everyone? My name's Thomas with Real Broker here in St. Augustine, Florida. And if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest here in Northeastern Florida, make sure you reach out to me and my team directly. All we try to do is give you the information so that you can make an educated decision on what you want to do, which is buy, sell, or invest in real estate here in St. Augustine. So like I said earlier, we're going to talk about the top 5 reasons that people are moving to St. Augustine, starting with arts and entertainment. We're going to then go into the weather and the outdoors here. We're also going to talk about the affordability compared to other markets here in Florida. We're going to talk about the communities that they have here in the school system, and we're also going to talk about its proximity to other places here in Florida. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the arts and entertainment here in St. Augustine. It's one of the main reasons that I love living here in town. That's because there's always something to do in this small town. Even though it's not doesn't have a huge population, you can find something to do if you're interested in doing some form of activity, right? Now maybe that's outdoors, maybe that's going to see some live music, maybe that's going to an art gallery, maybe it's going to a farmer's market. Whatever that is, there's something for you to do here in town. But aside from that, we do also have some beautiful architecture. So I'm kind of bundling that into the arts. You know, we have Castillo di San Marco, we have the Treasury Building, we have Flagler College, and just in general, we have like the Colonial Quarter where St. George Street is, and that's where the main walking area of downtown St. Augustine is. A lot of the shops and restaurant are based off of St. George Street, and a lot of those homes in that area, and the newer homes now, are designed to look older and have a different style of architecture based off that Colonial Quarter. So it's super beautiful down there. You get to see something that's not typical in most cities here in the United States, and St. Augustine being the nation's oldest city that's been continuously inhabited. We definitely have some great architecture and some beautiful things to look at. And honorable mention as well with the architecture, we also have Ripley's Believe It or Not. So if maybe you want to go there, bring your kids there, it's a fun time. We went on school field trips there all the time, so I've been there enough, I've seen it, done it. But it's the one that they put on the TV show. So if you ever watched the TV show, you saw the big castle. That castle is sitting right here in the heart of downtown St. Augustine. So just another cool add to our area. But aside from the architecture that we have here, the arts and entertainment scene is honestly comparable to major cities, major metropolitan areas. And it's something that I really love about living in this town. You go out and you walk downtown, and literally you'll hear music coming out of this ear. You keep walking, you'll hear music from over here. There's live music all throughout downtown and St. Johns County in general. And it just seems to be one of those things that you can find on any given day of the week. Especially during this month, right now, during the month of September, they have the Sing Out Loud Festival, where a lot of the local artists, a lot of neighboring artists will come into town. They'll play free shows all across the town, and now that's developed even into a bigger music festival where everything was once free. Now they have bigger acts pulled in, and they play for about 30,000 people at St. Francis Field, which is also in the heart of downtown St. Augustine. And they bring some great acts. So we went last year, they brought Mumford & Sons, and they also brought the Black Keys. The Black Keys is like, I was so stoked to see them. I haven't seen them in a long time. They played a lot of their songs off of I think it's Magic Potion, one of their first albums. So I was loving that. But this year they have Noah Kahan. I'm not super familiar with him, but then they also have the country artist Eric Church coming and headlining in downtown St. Augustine. So that is a paid event, but it's something it's being put on every single year now. At least I'm hoping for the future. It's 2 years in a row where they've done it, and they've had this big draw. So it's another factor here. That makes it really cool. So I live in West Augustine. Last year I walked downtown and I went to the show and I walked home. So it was pretty nice. So aside from the small acts, the live music, the farmers markets, the art shows, the art galleries, all those things, we do also have this St. Augustine Amphitheater, which, if you don't know, it actually sells more tickets than Red Rocks, and everyone knows what Red Rocks is up in Colorado. The reason we sell more tickets, though, is because we're open year-round. Our winters are typically pretty mild, around 70 degrees, which is an amazing time of the year here. But the amphitheater seats about 4,000 people. They get some really great acts through there, and that's a fantastic venue, and they do also host farmers markets and everything there. But if you ever have been to an amphitheater and have gone out, it's one of the best in the country. And if you search it online, you're going to be able to find stories that corroborate what I'm saying. It's fantastic. So since we were just talking about the weather and how it looks during the end of the year, that is something to mention as well, and that's number 2 on our list. The weather in the outdoors here in northeastern Florida, in my opinion, is better than the entire state of Florida. And this actually is not just my opinion. I actually found this little news article, but it shows that we have favorable year-round weather comparable to Southern California. And I will say, during the summer, it does get a lot hotter here than it does in Southern California. But outside of that 3 months of the dog days of summer, we really have some great weather. Now, of course, this month we've actually had 237% more rain, no hurricanes or anything, but 237% more rain than we typically do. So we actually had 14 days of straight rain, which is completely rare here. I felt like I was living in the Northeast again, where I was like, I haven't seen the sun in 2 weeks. And that's not typical here at all. Typically it rains maybe for a couple hours during it, almost every day during the summer, and then the sun comes out, clears up all that water, and you would never have thought it rained that day. So in general, the weather here is fantastic. Yet, if you're moving from the Northeast, you're moving from a colder climate, that first summer, it's going to be a little rough, because you got to get adjusted to the heat here. But once you get past that first summer, your body starts to adjust. Yeah, it gets hot, but you hop in your car, you go to a store, everything has air conditioning. It's really not bad at all. If anything, you go to the beach and you cool off. And that's another big part of living here in the area, is going to the beach, right? But before we talk about the beach, let's also talk about hurricanes. Now, through my tenure of living here in St. Augustine, I can really only recall 2 major hurricanes that have pretty much hit and caused some significant damage here. So we have Hurricane Floyd. This is back when I was a kid, so I can't remember. It was like maybe 99 or 2000. Then we also had Hurricane Matthew, which was in 2016, and that caused some damage, some flooding to the area. But aside from that, especially when you compare it to the rest of Florida, and you can pull up some hurricane maps on your own, we tend to get very lucky here in St. Augustine. For whatever reason, it either goes south and it goes towards Orlando, and once a hurricane hits inland, it starts to lose some of its speed and its danger, or it bounces around us and it hits in South Carolina, and then it goes north through the coast. So we've been really lucky here in St. Augustine, if you compare it to like Tampa and the Gulf Coast, I mean, they get hit with hurricanes all the time, and they're typically smaller. They're not as big, right? But they're just getting hit with a lot more than we are over on our side. So we talked about the weather. I gave you a little brief on that, but also with the weather, we have the beautiful outdoors here in St. Augustine. So of course we have, I think it's 42 miles of beaches, and some of our beaches here are the widest beaches that you'll go on. Between the dunes and the water, depending on the tide, you could have 100 feet of beach, right? So that's plenty of room for you to spread out. Another good thing about the beaches here is that you can drive on the beach. You can bring your dogs on the beach. If you want to have a little grill on the beach, as long as there's no open flame, you can grill on the beach. There's a lot of great things about being here in St. Augustine. We have a 4-wheel drive vehicle. It's the only way to go to the beach, especially if you got kids or dogs, because then you're not carrying things over the dunes. You can just drive right on the beach, unload right there, and have a nice beach day. Aside from the beach, we also have the intercoastal. Now, Anastasia Island is a barrier island to the state of Florida. So we have an intercoastal waterway that goes right between the state of Florida and Anastasia Island. And that stretches all throughout the part of northeastern Florida, goes all the way to Jacksonville as well. So in terms of getting out on a kayak, going boating, going fishing, very easy to do here. There's tons of public boat ramps throughout St. Johns County that you have access to. And you can also, if you wanted to, you can also go on the St. Johns River. That's going to be on the west side of the county. But a lot of people are focusing on St. Augustine, the beaches, and the intercoastal. And then you also have 2 inlets to get in and out. So if you wanted to go out, maybe go do some deep sea fishing, you can do that very easily from the heart of St. Augustine. But those are pretty obvious things, right? We live in Florida, we have beaches, we have water, all that good stuff. You're going to be able to do all of that. But we also have some great golf here in our area. So St. Johns County is home to Sawgrass, where the Players Championship is played. So if you're a golfer, you're going to find there's tons of golf courses all around, and some of the best golf courses in the entire country are here in our area. So you're not going to have any trouble with that, and within that, the communities are also beautiful as well. Now, the third thing on our list is going to be affordability. Now, if you're a local watching this, I know you're going to rip me apart because the affordability for locals has changed drastically. It has become unaffordable for locals because most of the people that are living here are typically working in the hospitality industry. And if they're not in the hospitality industry, they're working for the government, and they're probably making around $50,000 a year. And with our median home prices being around $500,000, it makes it really, really tough for those people to buy a home. Not to say there aren't options for them. There's plenty of townhomes and condos and even single-family homes that are south of $300,000 here, which I think is a perfect opportunity for some of these people. But for the most part, if you're living, in one of these master plan communities, if you're living on the island, those people are, for the most part, priced out. But if you're relocating here to our area, if you're comparing our area to South Florida or Tampa or Orlando, you're going to probably find that what you get here is going to be a lot more bang for your buck, especially if you're moving from South Florida or you're moving from California or New York. You're going to look at the housing prices here and you're going to be like, dang, I get all that? That's amazing. And that's one thing I really wanted to talk about here, is because we have tons of new construction homes, new construction communities within this area. And as of right now, those are going to be your best deals, right? It's a brand new home. You get warranties on the structure. You get warranties on all the appliances. You typically get a 1-year material defect warranty. So if a light switch stops working, the builder will come out and fix it. Warranty department. Of course, every builder is going to say their warranty department's fantastic. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's probably going to take them some time. They're not going to just do it immediately. They're going to do it on their own time. And my wife is from New Jersey. We compare this all the time. We're like, hey, what if we bought a house in New Jersey just so we'd be close? We have a place to stay if we go up there and, be close to family and everything. But if you look at what a $500,000 house here is versus a $500,000 house in New Jersey or New York, I mean, when you're comparing them, it's apples and oranges. You're getting a brand new home in a brand new community. Everything's done for you, whereas like a $500,000 home in Jersey is like a home built in the 1950s, so the layout's all wonky, and you got to remodel everything in that house. Yes, you get a basement, so you do have a little bit of extra square footage down in your basement. You don't have basements here, but in terms of what you get here, I still think we get a lot better. So if you are interested in new construction, I definitely think it's a great deal. It's the best deal in today's market, and a lot of our homes in our area here, I'd probably say 80% of the homes in this area have been built in the last 20 years. So pretty much all of our inventory is relatively new, especially if you're living in Jersey or New York, because a lot of their inventory is much, much older. And talking about the new construction and the communities that they're building, that leads me into the next topic, which is going to be the communities that we have and the schools, right? So we have tons of master plan communities within the area. You have your pick of the litter of what you want to do. Just right off the top of my head, we have Sable Estates, we have Entrada, we have Beacon Lake, we have Beach Walk, we have Nocatee, we have Shearwater, Rivertown, Stillwater, Silverleaf, Trailmark. The list really goes on. I mean, there's probably 20 to 30 master plan communities where you get these beautiful amenities, you get a brand new construction home, and you're also going to more than likely get your closing costs paid and your rate bought down. But the biggest benefit of these communities is that, especially if you have a family, it's really great to go in there and then like, hey, all the people in here are new. My kids can make friends, I can make friends, and then we can all go hang out at the amenity center. We don't got to make a mess at my house or their house. That's one of the big bonuses of living in one of these master plan communities. And they're even starting to do this now, where in a lot of these master plan communities, the schools are within the master plan community. So Shearwater just opened up a school, I think it's K through 8, in the community of Shearwater. So you don't even have to leave your community to get your kid to school. They can walk to school, they can bike to school, all within the safety of your master plan community. Same thing with Beacon Lake, same thing with Nocatee. They have these schools within the community, so you don't need to leave for, obviously for other reasons, but for any of your day-to-day activities like going grocery shopping or taking your kids to school or anything surrounding that, you'll find within your bubble, which is really, in terms of being a busy parent, that's fantastic. In terms of being busy in general, having a school within your community, not only is it good for resale, but it's good if you ever plan to have kids as well, because then it's really easy layup to just bring them right to school, K through 8. And I did mention Nocatee. Nocatee has been ranked by Newsweek, it's been ranked by niche.com, many other publications saying it's the #1 master plan community in the entire state of Florida. And we have available land where all those other 20 master plan communities I just outlined are building a very similar style to what Nocatee is. They kind of made the blueprint and everyone else is just kind of following it around. So Nocatee was like the first one to have schools in it, and now it seems that like every master plan community is planning for the future use of certain pieces of land to be used for schools. So both those schools in Beacon Lake and Shearwater just opened, but Silverleaf has a plan, I think, for 2 schools within the community of Silverleaf, maybe even 3 if I remember correctly. And the 5th reason that people are moving to St. Augustine is the proximity to other metropolitan areas. So we have Jacksonville. Depending where you live in St. Johns County, it could be a 20-minute drive for you, but for many people in St. Johns County, it's probably going to be about a 30 to 45-minute drive, depending where you're going in Jacksonville. Historically, when I was a kid, if you wanted to commute for the good jobs, you'd head up to Jacksonville to get the better paying job. And that option is still available today, especially with a lot of those new construction communities and a lot of master plan communities bordering the county line between St. Johns County and Duval County, which is Jacksonville. You're also 2 hours from Orlando. Orlando obviously is a huge metropolitan hub. If you have to travel a lot, being between Jacksonville and Orlando is fantastic because you have a ton of flight options out of both of them, and they're both pretty easy to navigate once you get to know the airport. Jacksonville, as of right now, they're building it up right now. They're going to add more terminals. As of right now, it only has 3 wings. So if you're missing your flight in Jacksonville, you came super late, because I almost show up 30 minutes before boarding and I get in and out and no problem at all. Orlando, you want to go an hour or 2 earlier because it is a much bigger airport, but between both of those locations you can travel anywhere in the country. There is also a Daytona. Daytona has an airport as well, so that may be something to look in. They're a little bit more limited, I would say, than Jacksonville and Orlando. But between those 3 airports, Daytona's only about an hour away from the majority of St. Johns County. You're going to be able to find travel to wherever you need to go. So now we talked about jobs, we talked about travel, but also the lifestyle of being close to these cities is also a great thing. Jacksonville is a growing metropolitan area. We talked about the jobs, but it's also a pretty cool city to go and visit nowadays. Jack's Beach, really cool little beach town, a walkable area. You go to the beach, go to a bar, go get some dinner. Great little area down there. And then there's also the Jags Stadium. They're talking about building the stadium of the future, and it's already been approved. It'll be years before it's done. But typically when you have these massive infrastructure projects, there's going to be an explosion of growth around the Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium. That's what I believe, and if you look at all the news articles, they talk about stadiums on the northern side of Jacksonville, and the St. Johns River runs through it, pretty much right through the center. So like on the south bank of the river and on the north bank, they have multiple projects that have been approved, and some have been denied and some have been approved. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on around that river bend. And like I mentioned previously, if you're a golf fan, you go up to Sawgrass. That's in Ponte Vedra Beach. That's in the northern part of St. Johns County. You can catch the Players Championship there, but there's also tons of golfing communities. There's also golf courses open to the public throughout St. Johns County that you have access to. Then we can't forget about Daytona, right? If you're a biker, they got Daytona Bike Week. They have like a huge Harley dealership down there, a whole bunch of bikers here in this area because for the most part, year round, we have great weather and you can always ride. Then there's also the Daytona 500 if you're big into cars. I mean, that's the place you want to go. They have car shows there. They obviously have the Daytona 500 there, but they also have a whole bunch of other smaller races there too. So if you're big into that, that's right there for you. That's only an hour away from the majority of St. Johns County. And then of course you have the big monster of Disney. You know, I'm not that big of a Disney guy. I know tons of people are, but that's 2 hours away. You go there in the morning, you come back at night, you go there, rent a hotel for the night, spend 2 days in Disney. You're going to spend like $1,000 doing it, but you know, especially if you got the kids in tow, it's going to cost you a little bit more. But definitely worth it to be here in this pocket because you stay away from the craziness. You drive through Orlando. Orlando's got like the worst traffic in the United States, and I think it was voted that recently. But that's The only reason, unless I'm flying out of Orlando, if I'm heading to Disney or I'm going to Universal, those are the only reason I'm heading down there. Otherwise, it's like I'm sticking away from that mess. And guys, those are the top 5 reasons that people are moving to St. Augustine right now. If you have any other questions about moving to St. Augustine, living here in the area, the best tacos, the best pizza, reach out to me directly. Leave me a comment in the comments below. And if you are looking to buy, sell, or invest here in Northeastern Florida, reach out to me and my team. When I say this, all we try to do is give you the information so that you can make an educated decision. We are no pressure, low pressure sales. We want you guys to win. That's really it. And my job is to give you the information, right? And if I'm not doing that, I'm not doing my job. And if I'm pushing you towards something, I hate that. No one likes that. No one likes that salesperson that's very, very pushy. I'm not that person at all. I want to build a relationship. I want you guys to win. So if you are looking to do that, buy, sell, or invest, make sure you reach out to me and my team. Until next time, guys.